Good evening everyone. It is at the moment in the UK the 2nd of September and it's fairly late at night, 9:45. I'm just deciding to update my follow-up on the Is Ethereum Ready to Plummet piece that I did the other day. As anyone that caught that video will recognise, I put this out the 29th of last month, and as you can see we've still got the nice rectangles and the different points. I'll show you a quick update, and here's where the rectangle now sits. It actually rose up for a couple more days, but now that it seems we're heading closer towards the fork, there's been quite a lot of unsettlement and big corrections through all of cryptos, and Ethereum is definitely showing a fair amount of red. And now here we go with the third chart. This is an up-to-date chart. I was working on it a few minutes ago. I know that there's been another drop since, not by a huge amount, but it's still on the way down, and I would say it's showing no positive signs. This is on the 4 hour, as you can notice near the top. I don't like going into the really tight time frames as much as I can because they're just too volatile to give you an overall picture. So on here we have B1, Y2, O3 and R4, all different nice colours today. So B1 is 322. I would say that's the last time that we got any amount of support. And what you noticed the other day, well the other week, and it was after the big jump up, small correction, and then it started running through. It's pretty much, if you look very closely, there's a faint crosshair which is on, it's time dated in the top left of the 27th at 9 AM in the morning, so it probably happened about the 25th, 26th that it actually came through and it got a little bit more support. Underneath that, if that is broken and it continues downward, the next really big stop I see is 300. Yes, there are other minor support levels running throughout, but nothing that I can see makes a good bit of difference. 300, all the big round figures are always a good resistance and support level, so it will most likely hover there. I would say most likely it will drop down to about the 322 mark and then actually show a bit of signs of recovery as a load of different people jump in on the bandwagon and maybe stop the rot a little bit, but chances are it will drop to the 300. At that point it might take quite a fair amount longer to break through that resistance and support, but if we do, then most likely it will go to O3, which is orange 3, and that's about the 281 mark. Now after this point kind of gets a bit more interesting. Like, yes, I know that is quite a good chunk of support theoretically, but it depends on how quickly it hits it. I would say if it hits it quite early in the month, then it most likely will break. Now at that point I've got a fair amount of my take profits on my shorts because I don't want to get caught out, and actually quite a few of them are going to try and cash out a bit before that even. Where at the moment they're about the 300, 310, 320. If you actually go on my portfolio you might be able to see when the take profits are all set up, but it all depends on how quickly it hits there. If I see any major dropping, I'm gonna extend those take profits or cash in and open up new positions. If it breaks orange 3, then the scary one is red 4. That is in the 266 mark. Now that is gonna start really testing a lot of support levels at that point. I'm gonna keep on checking the amount of short orders there are out there. On a few of the different exchanges you can see who's betting on what. If I notice that there's a hell of a lot of short orders coming up and there's no long orders actually coming in, then yeah, I'll end up extending those those take profits even more on my hedges and probably adding more to it. and the next chart gets even scarier. Okay, so this is the final chart. It just zoomed out, so that way it gives you a bigger history. Now on here we've got red 5 and red 6. Now they look similar to the marking points on the very first graph that we did. However, it doesn't actually go that far back in time. On the support levels, it's more recent support levels, not the all-time lows. I really don't think it's going to hit its major all-time low corrections, because there's more faith in it than that. However, it could theoretically hit them. If it breaks R4, it is a long way down. R5 is 221. There's a fair amount of support there because it hit that after the last big correction, and then it bounced around there for a while at certain points, so that should give us a little bit of padding. However, if that breaks, R6 is below the 200 mark. It's 176. There is actually another support level in there at the 200, which should give it a fair amount of support, but as I mentioned on the previous levels, if it breaks it through ridiculously quickly, chances are it is just going to keep smashing downwards. Everyone's going to end up jumping off the sinking ship, and all the big whales are not going to jump back in until after the fork, because if you had a lot of money and you can see it going down and down and down, and you just claim this money and you don't see any improvement anytime soon, well, what would I personally do? Am I gonna short it and ride the wave all the way downwards to the bottom, and then keep pushing it downwards, and then bottom feed and push it back up? Yeah, I probably would. So I don't see any of the big whales going near it with a barge pole until after the fork is over, which is going to do more damage, because without any positive indicators, this is more likely. Please, everyone, bear in mind as well, just as a very closing statement, technical analysis is a bit hit and miss on something that's a lot less volatile. So even in stocks, currencies, you name it, trying to use technical analysis, it is just to give you indications to what your particular trading strategy is. This is not a prediction of this is what is going to happen. It is more of an indicator of, okay, if B1 is broken, then chances are it will get down to Y2. If Y2 is broken, then it is likely to get down to O3. I use these points to cash in some profits, to potentially open up new positions, and whenever I'm not near my computer, I always make sure that there's some orders set up, so that way I don't miss out on any of the major swings. So I'm not saying it is going to hit R5, R6, R4. I am saying that it is most likely to hit B1 and then run from there. I will be continuously updating this. It is always very risky putting this out without the signs of hindsight. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and with hindsight, everyone has 20/20 vision on exactly what they should do. Like, if you look at the first report, it actually raised up for a couple more days, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there thinking, this guy's nuts, no way does he know what he's going on about, it's still riding upwards. Yes, it did for a couple of days, and yes, it will most likely have a little bit of a breakout before the fork is over and done with. But seeing from what's happened in the past, especially with Bitcoin, I noticed the general trend was, yes, it was a steady decline. It had minor corrections along the way and minor breakouts along the way as well. So there was a little bit of volatility, but overall it wasn't hugely volatile on a 4-hour chart. It was just a gentle, slow decline. and I would say that's what caught out a lot of people, including myself, and also the knock-on effect of other cryptos. I think the reason why we saw more drop in all the other altcoins instead of Bitcoin is, well, a lot of people are running to Bitcoin to escape all the red in everything else. I'm not going to be messing around with a lot of the other altcoins. I'm going to be focusing mainly just on Bitcoin and just on Ethereum. I know that there is going to be maybe some profits missed out, but only minor ones, and I'd much rather play it safe and just concentrate on my main two cryptos for the coming month. Yes, that doesn't mean that I won't be messing about with them and making some profit here and there and setting some orders, but main things are Ethereum, Bitcoin. And I hope this helps everyone out there and gives a little bit more of a view of what I think is going to happen. It's not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. It is just my own whistling into the wind. By all means, this is the absolute I don't care plugs. You can follow me on Twitter, Willscubatrader. You can also follow my channel on YouTube, because you'll actually see the video before anywhere else. Everything is always updated to the website, and then usually all the different things like LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything else then gets notifications directly from my website. So if you follow anything on anywhere, your preferred choice of social media, you can pick anything else up. And for all of the socialophobes like I am, you can just go and sign up to the watch list on my website and you'll get email notifications. Just make sure that you check your junk spam filters, because usually it'll just filter it out just like mine always does. Okay, so I hope that everyone's having a green day. I know that on my Ethereum it's only got one red trading at the moment, which I'm pretty pleased about, but everything can change on a very small position very, very quickly.